We now present For the Record.
This morning on For the Record, the Baraboo Superintendent of Schools sits down to discuss the now viral moment a parent confronted him on stage at a high school graduation. Plus, Madison's brand new softball team plays their first game at Warner Park tonight, how they're making Madison a women's sports town. But first, after a weekend of gun violence, we hear from a local violence prevention organization to get at the root of the problem and what we can do to solve it. I'm Braden Ross. Will Keneally is off this week. This is For the Record. One person is dead and 12 people have gunshot wounds after 3 shootings in Madison last weekend. It sparked a conversation about how we can keep our community safe from gun violence. Today, I want to continue that conversation. Here to talk about it is Executive Director of Focused Interruption, a local gun violence prevention organization. Anthony Cooper, thanks so much for joining me.
Thank you so much for having me here.
Now, I wanted to have you here today because this is your work. This is the work you're doing every single day. You know this community and you know this issue. So break it down for us. What does the landscape of gun violence really look like here in Madison?
I mean, one of the main things is that what we're not talking about enough is that people in our community are scared, right? So, you know, you have young people that are scared of each other. You have adults that are scared and don't know, who they're worried about whether or not if they may be next or may get shot, and it's not always someone who has been involved in that even has something to do with a crime, or someone that has to do with because this is an old school saying that we used to say in our community and still say is that a bullet doesn't have any name on it. The fact that we have was it 9 kids that were hit by gun violence. It's a blessing that no one was murdered for that. But then we still end up losing someone as well. So we can't keep putting a Band-Aid on this situation. We're tired of burying babies. We're tired of burying mothers and fathers over senseless gun violence, period.
A lot of the times when we talk about these shootings, we hear that they stem from even small arguments. You use the word senseless, right? So talk to me about this. Why are people turning to violence in these situations that often seem, like they could be resolved another way? And how do you guys work to combat that?
People are afraid. This is the time that we're living in right now because of all the madnesses that's going on through, that is happening in our city, and then also is happening in cities alike. And so now the other flip side of that is what we do as an agency and being able to help de-escalate those challenges and being able to, have other types of conversations. We have conversations with MPD, and I'm open in being able to say that and say, okay, look, we also have conversations with community members that saying, hey, look, this is a problem. We know this is going on. We don't want, I don't want my son or daughter to go to jail, but we need someone to be able to talk to them. And that's what we come in and we are able to have those other additional conversations without helping people being able to de-escalate and then also really mitigate when there are conflicts if they're willing to. Because of course, everything with our program is all voluntary. So, when someone is referred to us, there's been people that have been referred to us from MPD. There's been people that have been referred to us from the grandmother. There's been people who have been referred to us from the school district and other community organizations. And we try to make sure that we're able to sit down and talk with that person and being able to help them to see there is another way to be able to really have a conflict resolution. A true conflict resolution.
And you will actually respond to hospitals after shootings like this or the scene of these shootings. And I know you were there or you had people there at some of these shootings over the last weekend. What does that response look like? Like, what do your teams on the ground really do when they go to respond to these situations?
Well, what we do, even when we're at the hospital, we sit down, we talk with the families. We sit down and talk with the hospital. We sit down and talk to loved ones who are concerned about, because the thing is in our world, we talk about trauma. And, a lot of times sometimes when people are coming to the hospital, their reactions is also their own trauma because they're dealing with some other things throughout the community as well. And so, you have enough people who have either been hurt. And so we sit down, we try to have conversation with them, or sometimes being able to, sometimes we do walks and talks and being able to say, all right, look, let us help you to be able to find out what is the next step with your loved one. Also, what are some ways to be able to, instead of someone leaving the hospital, so, like anyone would be upset that their loved one just got hurt. But how can we make sure that we sit down that the violence doesn't continue?
I want to talk to you as someone who talks to the people that are perpetrating this violence as well as the people who are injured. Where are these guns coming from? How are they getting into our communities, and how are they getting into the hands of our young people? I mean, that's really one of the most striking parts about a lot of these incidents, right, is how young people, that the people that are involved are.
If I had the exact answer to that, but to what I feel and the way that, and many people who I've talked to, they're coming from everywhere. Again, just going back to people are still leaving guns in their car overnight. Why? That makes no sense. Not in a lockbox, not in anything that can prevent someone from preventing someone from being able to have access to it. They're sitting in their cars. People are still doing that after all the initiatives that what we've had to being able. I mean, it's from social media pushing out saying, "Hey, look, we don't, please lock your cars, do this, do that, put your guns inside of your home and so on." People are still doing some of the. To me, I feel like the basic is basic safety things that they should be doing to make sure that no one else can get access to their guns. But then also, guns are coming from everywhere. This is a problem that we're having. Definitely a problem that we're having in Madison. But this is a problem that's going on throughout our United States. There is a gun trade. We have to talk about guns, just like we talk about. You have the conversation about drugs. You have to be able to. You have to go to that level of things because. Again, our young people are getting guns. They're not, they're not just getting them from their parents. Their parents are not saying, "Hey, all right, hey, little Bobby, I want you to have a gun." When you go out in the community, they're getting it. Some of these kids are getting it from their friends, and so and then who knows where that person is getting it from. So I think these are just again the challenges that what we are dealing with, just like the challenges that are surrounding around drugs that are happening in our community as well. They're coming from everywhere. So it's not. I don't want to just say that there's just one place where they're coming from. They're coming from everywhere. But in order for us to be able to fight it, we have to make sure that we're coming together and actually having conversations where because again, we've had parents that said, "Hey, you know what? I found this in my son's room. I don't know what to do with it, right? Type of ordeal." And being able to have those conversations. So if someone wants to turn a gun into our office, we can set something up where we can make sure that gun is disposed of in a proper way. These are things that and this isn't something that in law enforcement, I will make sure that law enforcement will be a part of that and being able to receive the gun from us, but not necessarily from that family member or that person because they don't want to be a part of the conversation. But we have to start thinking about stuff and doing things outside of the box to be able to remove these guns from our community. And this is stuff that has to happen now because in our world of things, and as we look, some of the stuff that was going on currently, we constantly want to make sure that we're pushing the conversation like, all right, we know stuff is happening, will happen, it has happened. We know the summer is doing what we thought was going to probably happen during the summer. So that's why we've been doing a lot of outreach and talking to people in different communities and just saying and letting them know not only about our services, but also other services. We have conversations with public health. We have conversations with the encounter, and again, having conversations with our school districts and others, Victim Witness and Rainbow Project and so forth, to be able to say, like, look, this is a problem. Like how, because of this problem, also, because as much as we talk about the problem, we also have to be able to start talking about the healing as well that has to take place.
Anthony, thanks so much for being with us today. When we come back, you may have seen this viral video of a parent rushing the stage at a high school graduation in Baraboo. We sit down with the man you can see being confronted on that stage, the superintendent of schools, Dr. Rainey Briggs. We'll be right back.
This portion of News 3 Now is sponsored by Madison Gas and Electric.
Need inspiration? Shop Pick and Save. For over 30,000 mouth-watering choices, plus savings like digital coupons worth over $600 each week and up to $1 off per gallon at the pump. Pick and Save is worth it every time. Pick and Save, fresh for everyone.
This is Kathy. She's about to see her dentist. She's afraid. Not because of the drill, but because of the bill. A big bill. But Kathy doesn't need to be afraid, and neither do you, thanks to affordable dental insurance from Physicians Mutual Insurance Company. It's easy to get this coverage. Don't believe me? Call or go online for all the details. You could even have this free information kit. This isn't a discount plan or preventive-only coverage. This is real dental insurance. It helps pay for over 400 procedures. That's a lot. I'm talking cleanings, fillings, crowns, bridges, root canals, even dentures. Bottom line, you'll have help paying for routine care and expensive major work. But if you want deductibles, forget it. There aren't any. No annual maximum either. Plus, you can see any dentist you want. Stop fearing the big bill. Start saving at the dentist. Call now or go to sendinfokit.com.
Physicians Mutual, Physicians Mutual.
You can visibly eliminate wrinkles and under eye bags in 10 minutes with results that last up to 10 hours without needles and without surgery. Plexiderm does it for only $14.95. Visit plexidermtrial.com.
From midnight tweets to drinking bleach to tear-gassing citizens and staging a photo op, we knew Trump was out of control when he was president. Then he lost the 2020 election and snapped, desperately trying to hold on to power. Now he's running again, this time threatening to be a dictator, to terminate the Constitution.
If I don't get elected, it's going to be a bloodbath.
Trump wants revenge, and he'll stop at nothing to get it.
I'm Joe Biden, and I approve this message.
Welcome back to For the Record. This is the now viral moment when a Baraboo High School parent rushed the stage at the school's graduation ceremony, seemingly to stop his daughter from shaking hands with someone on that stage. Now, we've chosen to blur the faces of the students in that video. The man you see there being pushed away by that parent is Baraboo's Superintendent of Schools, Dr. Rainey Briggs. Today, we're going to hear what happened on that stage straight from him. Dr. Briggs, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me here, Braden.
So take me back to that moment on that graduation stage. What's going through your mind? What happened?
Yeah, in that moment, I see this white blur coming up the stairs, and in that moment, I'm kind of like, well, is this a photographer? But as he descended upon me, you know, I'm kind of like, oh man, what is he doing? And as he approached me, he says, no, you're not. And at that point, I'm still not, you know, understanding what he's referring to. And then as we got back further on the stage, he said, you're not touching my effing daughter. And at that moment, it dawned on me that this isn't something that's safe in the moment. So I had to let him know to get his hands off of me, get away from me, as he still tried to come at me in that moment. And then that's when a couple others on the stage started to intervene, and Mr. Eddie started to try to find his way off the stage, you know, at that point. So in that moment, though, I mean, it was surely a frightening moment, not only for my own safety, but also for those that were in that space, because I'm not sure what this individual is going to do or what they have with them. They have a weapon, a gun, knife, or whatever. You know, so that was what I kind of saw and felt in the moment.
And there's obviously this video is all over the internet. There's a narrative online going around that this was racially motivated. What do you make of that? Is that how you feel about this?
Yeah, I'll say this. There's only one person that can really tell you whether this was racially motivated or not, and that's Mr. Eddie. For myself, though, the optics don't look good at all. They don't look good at all. But I also know that this incident should not just be the defining moment for the Baraboo community.
And I wanted to ask you about that Baraboo community because we've seen some racist incidents in the past in the Baraboo School District, most notably 2018. People will remember that Nazi salute photo with some students. You took on a role, I mean, you came on in 2021.
Yeah.
You knew this about Baraboo. What was that like for you taking that role on as a black man, and how has it been?
Yeah. I'll say first off, taking the role on, that one incident did not, once again, define for me that this is how the entire community works. But what that one incident did do for me is allowed me to really think about how can I be supportive of this community? How can I support students? How can I support staff? How can I support the leaders of this district and community despite that challenge that existed before my time? But then looking at the community at large, I also knew that this one, at the time, did not define the community along with this most recent one.
And you talked about, you know, this spotlight being on your community. This video is viral. It's all over the internet now. Yeah. What do you make of that spotlight and in a negative light right now on your community and your school district? Yeah,
I think it definitely brings some light to maybe situations that happen for different individuals in the community. But like I said, it doesn't define the community. But I think just like with any other community, there are things that happen in those communities that shed some negative light. And we have to be willing to work through those things as a community because the world is watching. The world is watching to see what we do, how we handle these situations, and what it's going to look like moving forward. With these actions, my hope is that individuals that are causing this negative light to be brought onto the community understand that they have to take a step back and reflect on how can we uplift the community? How can we make our community a better, fun, safer place for those who would visit and be a part of the community?
So let's talk about moving forward. How are you moving forward from this incident in the community? And then also I know you might have a referendum coming up this fall. Do you think this could impact that and how the community responds to that?
I think it can impact it, I'm going to say in a positive way, more so than a negative way. My hope is that as a community we pull together, given what happened. Again, this one incident doesn't define what the entire community will do and how they kind of will work together. But for me, as someone who leads the school district in that community, my ultimate goal is to bring people together. Right? Dr. King, back in 1957, talked about the 6 steps to social change. Right? We have to be willing to learn, hear people out, process, communicate, but also at the same time fix some of the challenges that we kind of face, harm that we may cause, so that it's not something that's forever lasting on that community. So the hope is that it will support and help us if we end up going to referendum in November, that the community will come out knowing that this is a part of that change. This is a part of where we need to see things be different to support at the elementary level related to this referendum, to support our community.
Absolutely, and we will keep an eye on it as it moves forward. Thank you so much for being here, Dr. Briggs.
Thank you, Braden, for having me.
Thanks.
Now, after the break, Madison's brand new softball team has their home opener today. We go to Warner Park to find out how the Madison Nightmares are leading the charge in making Madison a women's sports town. We'll be right back.
MG&E, building your community energy company for the future through the power of working together. Committed to cleaner, more sustainable energy, driven by innovation, fostered by shared values. Visit MGE2050.com.
I've been with U.S. Cellular for 27 years. They've always taken care of me. But when they asked me to talk to you about their special customer event, Us Days, I said, I gotta get in shape. So they sent me this Hollywood trainer. Oh, this guy's no joke. Us Days means exclusive deals just for us customers.
Now let's try burpees. Us Days is back at U.S. Cellular. Current customers get $1,200 off any phone, plus $300 off any tablet.
Stanton Optical is the best value in eye care. We do the math, people. For $79, you get all this. That costs over $200 at Walmart, over $300 at LensCrafters, and over $200 at America's Best. When it comes to value, Stanton Optical is the top bird. With the best service, quality, and prices, Stanton Optical is the best value in eye care. To help you remember, I made this cheer. V value. A, awesome value. L, lots of value. U, get 2 pairs of free eye exam and anti-glare lenses for only $79.
My husband and I finally agreed that we need a new bathtub and shower, so he went right to work on it. I think he's procrastinating.
For a new bathtub or shower, just call 1-800-HANSONS. Installed in as little as 1 day with optional safety features and a no-leak guarantee. Get 50% off installation or no interest and no payments for 1 year. Offer ends soon.
Call 1-800-HANSONS. Get it done.
MG&E, building your community energy company for the future through the power of working together. Committed to cleaner, more sustainable energy, driven by innovation, fostered by shared values. Visit mge2050.com.
Welcome back. Today is the first ever home opener for Madison's brand new summer collegiate softball team, the Madison Nightmares. They're part of a new league that's doing things differently, leading the charge in solidifying Madison as a women's sports town. I sat down with some of the women behind the team, General Manager Sam Rubin and Nightmares players Carly Oliver and Lexie Shaver, to find out how.
Hello, thanks for joining us today. So tonight is opening night for you, but take me back to even before opening night. Where did this idea for a softball team come from, Sam?
Yeah, I mean, it's always something that we've talked about. You know, women's sports, especially in Madison, are really on the rise. Women's sports everywhere are on the rise. And so when the Northwoods League created the softball team or softball league, we knew from the start that Madison was going to be such a great market for it to get into, and we kind of jumped on it. And so we're excited for the very first Nightmares game here at home tonight.
How are you guys feeling ahead of the first home game?
I'm really excited. I'm super excited. We've had a long week of practice, and we're all ready to just go out there and play.
Yeah, super excited. Like, I feel like it's so special to be a part of something for the first time, especially with me, like, rounding out my career. I couldn't think of a better way to spend, like, my last summer. It's going to be really exciting.
So the conversation a lot of the times around women's sports is, like, are they going to be able to put butts in seats, right? We've seen in Madison that Madison already is really a women's sports town. We have a fantastic volleyball team, fantastic hockey team, but to add another way for people to come out and support women's sports, like, what does that feel like? Are you excited, and do you think you'll have the support that you're looking for here?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, since we launched in January, like, the buzz around it has just continued to grow, and I think the buzz kind of landing us to this day where it's actually starting is awesome. Like, the past week or so has just been filled with media and excitement and people buying tickets and asking questions and that sort of thing, and, you know, you got to start somewhere, and so we're just excited to kind of start the process and see what we have in front of us.
What do you think sets this league apart from, I mean, there are other summer collegiate softball leagues, but this is a different and a new way to do this, so talk to me about that.
Yeah, I mean, there are summer collegiate softball leagues. Like, we're by no means saying that we're the only people doing it, but we are the only people doing it and adding in that element of fun that the Mallards bring or that minor league baseball brings. So the tickets, the butts and seats, the beer, the hot dog, the promotions, the mascots, the fireworks, like all the things that come along with the Mallards and minor league baseball, that's where it sets us apart. Those other leagues don't have that.
For you as players, like, what is that like to be able to have a league where there's more to it and there's more fun to it and there's fans in the stands?
I'm really excited about it. My brothers did it growing up, so I always showed up to the Northwoods League games and I watched it all, and I'm excited to experience it while I'm on the field this time. But yeah.
Yeah, I just remember, like, as a young softball player looking up to, like, any collegiate softball player and just, like, being like, wow, like, they're the real deal. And, like, just to be that for these younger players, I think is going to be so rewarding and so fun. And, like, in the community, I've never been to Wisconsin before, so this is a first all around for me. And so in the community, like, I wear this shirt and they're like, oh my gosh, you're on the Nightmares? I'm like, yeah, I am. So it's going to be really exciting to, like, see the smiles on their faces.
That was one of the coolest parts I remember when we were out at the name announcement, to see all those young girls, right? And I'm sure you guys have gotten a chance to meet even more of them. But what does that feel like for you guys to be role models for young women in sports?
I love it. I remember being their age and just looking up to the girls and, like, being on the other end of it. They think we're so cool, and it's awesome.
I agree. That's exactly how I feel. Like, I think that's the most rewarding thing, especially, like I said, like, rounding out my career. I would not choose, like, to spend my summer anywhere else. I think I'm super excited.
Yeah, and I think that's the cool part is we actually had the whole Nightmares team out to a Mallards game earlier this week, and we unveiled our mock uniforms for purchase in the store, and, like, watching all these, like, cute little girls wearing their uniforms that they were wearing was really cool to see for the first time. And I think tonight that will just continue to grow.
So if people make it out tonight, what can they expect? What's going to be different than a Mallards game versus a Nightmares game?
Yeah, well, we have a live mascot, so it's an actual mini horse. Her name is Midnight. Unfortunately, she will not be ziplining in, but, you know, I think it's going to be different. Softball as a whole is just really different from baseball. Like, we've watched their practices and their scrimmages this whole week, and it is so fast-paced, it's so fun to watch, it's so cool, and it's just so different. And so I think the actual game experience will be different with what you're watching on field. But honestly, like, the inflatables will be up, and the kid zone will be up, and ice cream will be sold, and beer and hot dogs, like all the fun stuff that come with the Mallards, like that's gonna be here for the Nightmares too.
Totally. Well, we are looking forward to it. I'm excited to come out for the home opener. Thanks so much for sitting down with us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
And the Nightmares' inaugural game at Warner Park kicks off tonight at 6:05. They have 21 home games this summer, so plenty of time to go out and support. We'll be right back after this.
Announcing Madison Magazine's Best of Madison Readers Poll for 2024. Vote for the Best of Madison online today, including Revival Infusion Madison for Best Mental Health Facility. Vote for Revival Infusion Madison online today. Announcing Madison Magazine's Best of Madison Readers Poll for 2024. Vote for the Best of Madison online today, including the Inn at 7 Acre for Best Boutique Hotel. Vote for the Inn at 7 Acre and all your favorites on MadisonMagazine.com.
Want to instantly look more attractive and years younger? The solution is whiter teeth. But you love coffee and tea, maybe even wine or smoking, and all of them stain your teeth and make them yellow. It's time you discovered Power Swabs, the fast 5-minute revolutionary treatment.
The first time I tried it, I was so surprised. My husband was so excited that he wanted to run out and get it. He said, "What have you been trying?" I said, "Well, I've tried this product called Power Swab." And he said, "I can't believe how white your teeth are." From that point on, I've been sold.
Power Swabs are guaranteed to whiten your teeth up to 2 shades after the first application. After 5-minute daily treatments for the next week, your teeth will be an average of 6 shades whiter. Power Swabs will whiten natural teeth and remove stains from veneers, bonding, caps, and crowns.
This is a Power Swab smile.
This is a Power Swab smile.
Call, go online, or scan the code on your screen right now to receive 50% off. You'll also receive the Power Swab Stain Out Quick Stick, absolutely free. And in addition, you will also get free shipping.
From midnight tweets to drinking bleach to tear gassing citizens and staging a photo op, we knew Trump was out of control when he was president. Then he lost the 2020 election and snapped, desperately trying to hold on to power. Now he's running again, this time threatening to be a dictator, to terminate the Constitution.
If I don't get elected, it's going to be a bloodbath.
Trump wants revenge, and he'll stop at nothing to get it.
I'm Joe Biden, and I approve this message.
Welcome back. Here's what to watch out for in local news this week. Former President Donald Trump will be in Racine on Tuesday. This will be his 3rd visit to the Dairy State this year. He'll hold a rally at Racine Festival Park where he'll talk, quote, how Joe Biden has failed the great people of Wisconsin. And Madison Center for Black Excellence will break ground on their new state-of-the-art facility on Wednesday. The 3-level, 65,000 square foot space will have everything from a recording studio and theater space to a demo kitchen, all aimed at investing in Madison's Black community and entrepreneurship. Community leaders and supporters will celebrate the groundbreaking alongside other Juneteenth celebrations. Thanks for tuning in to For the Record this Sunday morning. I'm Braden Ross. Have a great rest of your week.